Hi, welcome to I Love the Library. My name is Deb, and I'm the Public Services Supervisor here at the Detroit Lakes Public Library. Hope you're enjoying the warm weather and are having some great books to read. Here are some new titles you might want to check out. Now, I can't guarantee there will be beach reads, but they're new to us and look pretty exciting. Hot off the presses, and I believe it came out this week, Hillary Clinton's Hard Choices. As we all know, Mrs. Clinton made an unsuccessful run for president in 2008 and was then chosen by President Obama to serve as his U.S. Secretary of State. In this book, Hillary describes these extraordinary and historic years that followed her appointment and the hard choices that she and her colleagues confronted and how these experiences drive her view of the future. A must-read book for the history buff. Speaking of history, I've seen a lot of books pass through about World War II, but seldom have I seen recent publications about World War I. Yesterday, I came across this one put out by the Smithsonian. It's entitled World War I, The Definitive Visual History from Sarajevo to Versailles. This book documents the people, politics, events, locations, and technologies of the world's first global conflict, a war to end all wars. It's an interesting book for those looking for more information about World War I, what led up to it, and its aftermath. Obviously, it's a coffee table book, but again, I think the visuals are really neat, and it gives that background that we may not be acquainted with about World War I. I came across another interesting book yesterday, God's Forever Family, The Jesus People Movement in America by Larry Eskridge. How many of you remember the Time magazine cover with the banner headline, The Jesus Revolution? I do. This book talks about what prompted that headline. The Jesus People movement was a unique combination of the hippie culture and evangelical Christianity. It made its appearance in the late 60s and lasted into the mid-70s and then disappeared. The author, Larry Eskridge, argues that the Jesus People movement was one of the most important American religious movements of the time, and he says that the new and growing evangelical groups such as Calvary Chapel and the Vineyard, trace back to the Jesus People. He says that the Jesus People movement paved the way for the huge contemporary Christian music industry and the rise of praise music in the nation's churches. It's an interesting read and a trip down memory lane for those of us who remember this group and that time in history when the movement was popular. So, God's Forever Family. A few other catchy titles I came across: God, Cornbread, and Elvis, Ponderings on Ordinary Graces by Joe E. Pennell Jr. Junkyard Planet, Travels in the Billion-Dollar Trash Trade by Adam Minter. And this one by somebody who actually, I knew her grandmother, The Midwestern Table by Amy Thielen. This gal was here in Detroit Lakes sometime within the recent year, and I'm blocking at the time frame, but I think she was well received. She does have a show on Food Network, and I'm trying to get her to come to Detroit Lakes. So it was really interesting when I communicated with her for a little bit. Her grandmother lived next to my aunt in Pierce, Minnesota, and it was kind of neat because they were both fabulous bakers. So, The Midwestern Table by Amy Thielen. See you at the library.